watching The Breakdown with the Fight Analyst, Garrett Kerman.
What's up, everyone? I am the Fight Analyst, Garrett Kerman, and this is The Breakdown. This show is to break down every UFC fight card from a betting perspective to make you guys a ton of money. This weekend, we have a massive pay-per-view on tap, UFC 257, headlined by none other than Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. This is going to be one for the record books. This is going to be a great fight. This is the second fight between these two competitors, and I'm super stoked for it. First pay-per-view of the new year, and I can't wait for it. We have a special guest joining us later in this video, so guys, don't stay a long way. Keep going all the way to the end of this show to check out that interview with one great UFC fighter. But before we get into the breakdown, guys, I have to shout out our sponsor, Manscaped.com. Get the best male grooming products on the market to get that junk feeling and smelling great. This product is the best. It's called the Lawnmower 3.0. It gets no nicks, keeping that junk nice and smooth for your lady friends. So guys, head over there, use promo code TFTA20 for 20% off your order plus free shipping. So let's just get right down to the breakdown for this pay-per-view fight we have on tap here in the new year. All right, so the first fight on the card is a fight between two flyweights in Amir Albazi and Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Right now, Zhumagulov is a minus 125 favorite, and the comeback on Albazi is a plus 105 underdog. This is a fight I broke down several months ago, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out. I think it was due to COVID concerns. So here we are a few months later. The fight is still on tap, and I think it's going to be a great one to start the pay-per-view card here. I'm still sticking to my guns and taking Zhumagulov. I was very high on him in the first time they were ready to fight, and still the second time here. I think he's a much, much better fighter. He's going to be able to keep this fight on the feet. He throws much more volume than Albazi. He's fought the much better competition on the regional scene coming into the UFC. He fought a really good fight against a really good competitor in Ralian Paiva, who I think is levels above Albazi as well. Albazi looked good in his UFC debut against Malcolm Gordon, but then again, who doesn't look good against Malcolm Gordon, as we've seen Malcolm Gordon against Sue Mudarji. But yeah, I think this is a good fight for Zhumagulov. Anywhere this fight goes, he's shown good takedown defense against Paiva. He looked good in his striking against a much taller, lankier fighter in Paiva as well. And then in comes Albazi. Majority of his fights need to be on the mat for him to win. I don't think he's going to win the striking exchanges, and I think we're getting a really good price on Zhumagulov here. At minus 125, I'm sticking to my guns, and I'm taking him, and I am actually going to bet on him in this fight as well at minus 125. So next up, we have a fight in the featherweight division between Nick Lentz and Movsar Evloev. Sorry, I'm pretty bad with some of these names, but Nick Lentz was slated to fight on January 16th. Against Mike Grundy, but unfortunately, one of Mike Grundy's training, one of the guys in his camp, in his corner, tested positive for COVID, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to fight due to the COVID concerns. So here we are. Nick Lentz has got a new opponent and a much harder opponent in Evloev. Evloev he's one of the top prospects at 145 pounds. The dude is, then like the coming of Khabib, he's from Dagestan, Russia. He's got that crazy wrestling background. His striking looks crisp, great head kicks, great movement on the feet, and he just overwhelms his opponent with his wrestling. Right now, Evloev is a minus 440 favorite, and Nick Lentz is actually a plus 350 underdog, and that sounds about right. Evloev should be a massive favorite in this fight. I don't see where Nick Lentz could possible to win this fight. Maybe catch him in a submission when he's going for a takedown, but that's very, very unlikely. I think Evloev completely steamrolls Lentz here. Lentz is on the tail end of his career as well. I think Evloev takes a clear-cut, unanimous decision victory here. Unfortunately, minus 440 is a crazy line to bet on. Maybe you can get him by decision. That should be a good prop to bet on as well. All right, so next up, we have a fight in the middleweight division between Andrew Sanchez and Makhmud Muradov. This is going to be a pretty good fight, a pretty decent step up in competition for Muradov as well. Right now, Muradov is a minus 130 favorite, and the comeback on Andrew Sanchez is a plus 110 underdog. We still really don't know much about Muradov's takedown defense, and it's really going to be tested here against Andrew Sanchez. Andrew Sanchez has looked much better as of late, training over at TriStar now with Faraz Sahabi. I think he's looked a lot better, especially when it comes to his striking. He's using more of that karate style. He's always been a good wrestler. But I just don't like taking Andrew Sanchez. He's just one of those guys that tends to gas towards the later of his fights. He gets hit a ton. He's not the best striker, but he's gotten better. But his bread and butter is his takedowns and his overall offensive grappling game. And I don't know if he's going to be able to really get this fight to the ground. Muradov is he's a freak athlete. He's super strong. He's got great striking, really good power. And as long as he keeps his fight on the mat, it's his fight to win. It's his fight to lose. And he should pretty much put a hurting on Sanchez in this fight as long as he keeps his fight on the feet. And minus 130, I think that you're getting a pretty good price on him here against Sanchez. And it's not a steep step up into competition, but it's a decent step up in competition where I think he will pass this test with flying colors. All right, next up, we have a fight between Khalil, Rountree, and Marcin, Prachnio. Rountree is a minus 330 favorite, and the comeback on Prachnio is a plus 270 underdog. There's not much really to say here. I think Rountree should pretty much steamroll Prachnio and knock him senseless until next Tuesday. Prachnio is prone to getting knocked out. He's getting knocked out majority of his losses. Khalil Rountree still has great power. Training over at Tiger Muay Thai, he's looked a lot better. I know he lost his last fight, but it was against a much better competitor than Prachnio here. I think this is pretty much a no-brainer. Khalil Rountree should win inside the distance, should get a knockout win. Don't want to take him here on minus 330, but maybe you can get him on the inside the distance line and probably cut some of that juice down to a minimum. But I'm thinking Khalil Rountree pretty much steamrolls here, and the UFC is trying to at least give him another win as well. Next up, we have a fight in the women's bantamweight division between Sara McMann and Jessica Pena. Right now, McMann is a minus 130 favorite, and the comeback on Pena is a plus 110 underdog. This is going to be a very, very close fight given the odds. Two really good grapplers in the women's bantamweight division, two staples of the women's bantamweight division. They've been there for a very long time, both of them. And it really comes down to who's going to be the stronger of the two fighters, who's going to be the better grappler. And I think it's going to be Sara McMann. It's not a fight I really want to go ahead and bet on. It's very close. I really can't get a great read on who's going to be, the fresher fighter because, Sara McMann, she's been in there for a while. We don't know what we're going to really get from her. Pena is still the younger of the two fighters. She looked good for the most part in her last fight until she got choked out. But and that was a really close fight too against Jermaine Durandamy, who just fought for the belt and pushed Amanda Nunes to almost a breaking point. So if I had to choose, I'd probably go Sara McMann. I just think she's just more physically gifted. She's a stronger fighter, and I think she'll be able to get this fight to the mat. But then again, it's a really 50-50 fight. It's not a fight I really want to bet on. But if I'm leaning towards the side, I'd probably take Sara McMann. I do like the over 2.5 rounds here. Should be a decent play there as well. Next up, we have a fight in the middleweight division between Brad Tavares and Antonio Carlos Jr. This is going to be a really good fight. Right now, Brad Tavares is a minus 150 favorite, and the comeback on Antonio Carlos Jr. is a plus 130 underdog. I'm taking the dog here in Antonio Carlos Jr. He's a much bigger fighter. Dude looks like he should be fighting at 205 pounds. He's absolutely massive. He's got great grappling, great jiu-jitsu. I know he tends to fade as fights go on. Brad Tavares is a good wrestler. He's got that Hawaiian spirit, Hawaiian fighting spirit. We see that, how that translates with Max Holloway and, Punahele Soriano, those type of Hawaiian fighters. They are one to not to be reckoned with. They got some great power and they're very strong. And Brad Tavares is the same. He's got some great wrestling, great boxing. I just think he's on the tail end of his career, and I think if Antonio Carlos Jr. can get this fight to the mat, he's going to be in a world of trouble. And as long as he doesn't gas out like he normally does, I think he should. I really do think he should win this fight, and I don't think he should be a dog here. I still think Antonio Carlos Jr. is a really good fighter, really good grappler. And his striking isn't terrible. I mean, he's got the length, he's got the leg kicks, and he uses his length really, really well. So I think it's going to be a very close, competitive fight. But I think Antonio Carlos Jr. can really can edge it out here in the grappling exchanges, and he can even possibly get a finish if he gets his back. So I'm taking ACJ here at dog money plus 130. I think we're getting a really good line. All right, next up, we have a fight at 155 pounds, which is phenomenal matchmaking here between Arman Tsarukyan and Narat Haqparast. Right now, Tsarukyan is a minus 245 favorite, and the comeback on Haqparast is a plus 205 underdog. This is a phenomenal fight, one of my favorite fights of the card. I do think this should be a lot closer of a line, but Arman has looked phenomenal in his time in the UFC. Haqparast has looked great as well, other than that Drew Dober fight. Other than that, he's looked great in his time. But if I'm picking a winner here, I'm probably going to take Tsarukyan. I think he has a higher ceiling. He's got great grappling. His striking has looked really crisp. I just think he's the overall package. He is a legit prospect at 155 pounds. He should be cracking the top 15 at the end of this year. He's shown that he's super tough. He could take damage. He can defend takedowns. He can out-grapple his opponents. And I know Haqparast has got some mean power in his hands. He's got some really good volume as well. But when it gets time to defend the takedowns, I think that's where Tsarukyan is really going to overwhelm Haqparast. He's going to take him down. He's going to take him down numerous times. And I think he's going to be able to control him on the mat and just beat him up and get a unanimous decision victory here. Minus 245 is not a line I really want to bet on in a fight where Haqparast can lay a deadly blow. But I do have him winning here. Maybe could take him by decision to cut out some of that juice. But I do really think Tsarukyan is able to weather the power of Haqparast and just be able to control him on the mat and just wear him out for 15 minutes. Next up, we have a fight in the women's strawweight division between Marina Rodriguez and Amanda Ribas. Right now, Ribas is a minus 320 favorite, and the comeback on Rodriguez is plus 260 underdog. This boils down to whether Ribas wants to go in and take this fight to the mat. If she takes this fight to the mat, she can win probably easily. But if she stands and strikes at Rodriguez, it's going to be a very, very close fight. Rodriguez is a very, very good Muay Thai striker. Very, very good. There was a ton of volume, ton of leg kicks, just extreme volume for the strawweight division. Where she lacks is her takedown defense, is being able to get up off of her back. So in this fight, if this is a striking battle, man, I think Rodriguez has a chance to win this fight and cash in as a big underdog. I know they're putting a lot of stock into Ribas, but she legit hasn't beaten anybody of worthwhile just yet. I know she's been dominating majority of her opponents. That's beginning in front of her, but this is a legit step up in competition. And it boils down to whether she can get this fight to the mat and keep it there on the mat. So as far as picking a side here, I am not taking Ribas at minus 320. I think that's absurd. And this might be a live betting opportunity. I really want to see what Ribas' game plan is. If she's going to go in there and strike with Rodriguez, I might hit the live bet on Rodriguez, even if it gets closer down to a pick 'em, because on the feet, I think this is going to be extremely, extremely close. So if I had to pick, I think Ribas wins, but this is a live betting opportunity on Rodriguez if Ribas doesn't come in with a grappling heavy game plan. Next up, we have a fight in the lightweight division between Atman Azatar and Matt Frevola. Azatar is a minus 155 favorite, and the comeback on Frevola is a plus 135 underdog. This is going to be a banger of a fight. Azatar came in with a knockout in his last fight. I think both fights in his UFC career have been by knockout. He's got some insane power. But we have yet to see him get pushed and brought into deep waters. And there is a possibility that Frevola can do that here. He's got some great wrestling background. And it boils down to can Azatar get the knockout, and can he get it early on? Because if he doesn't, Frevola can really wear on him. He can just keep grappling him into the ground. So that really was what it boils down to. I think it's a tough fight. I've yet to see how well Azatar can really defend takedowns against a really good, offensive grappler, especially in Frevola, who's pretty good. And I really want to stay clear away from a fight like this. And this could be a live betting opportunity. I want to see, even if I lose, even if Azatar comes in and starches in first round, it is what it is. But I need to see if he can defend the takedowns. I need to see how he does if he doesn't get the first round finish. So if he's like gassing out, I could get Frevola at, maybe minus 150, minus 160, and just take him there on the live line. This is a live betting opportunity that I want to just watch and see what I could bet on. And there's a chance I can live bet Frevola or Azatar, depending on how I see this fight going. So I'm going to wait and watch for this fight and see how it plays out. Next up, in the women's flyweight division, we have a fight between Jessica Eye and Joanne Calderwood. Right now, Calderwood is a minus 120 favorite, and the comeback on Jessica Eye is a plus 100 underdog. This is a fight I'm definitely not going to be having any type of betting on. Joanne Calderwood shit the bed in her last fight against Jennifer Maia. So I kind of want to stay clear from her, and I definitely never want to bet on Jessica Eye. This is a fight that really could go two ways. Joanne goes in and absolutely just has a clinic on the feet, or Jessica Eye makes it gritty, like she normally does, makes it a cage fight, comes forward, gets in, and tries to take her down in that kind of fight. I don't know which way it's going to happen. We've seen Joanne get taken down. We've also seen Jessica Eye get pieced up on the feet. So this is really 50-50, which is why the line is almost at a pick'em here. If I had to choose, I would go with Joanne because I really don't like Jessica Eye. I don't think she's really that good. But I'm not betting this fight. I definitely don't want any of my money on this fight whatsoever. So I'm staying far, far away from it. Next up, in the co-main event, one of the best fights on the card in the lightweight division between Dan Hooker and the newcomer, the Bellator fighter, in Michael Chandler. Wow, this is going to be a great one. We're finally going to see the debut of Michael Chandler in the UFC. It's going to be exciting. We want to see what he's made of against the top competitors in the world. I'm super, super excited to see it happen. Right now, Hooker is a minus 130 favorite, and the comeback on Michael Chandler is a plus 110 underdog. Man, this is going to be a good one. This fight really boils down to whether Chandler could get this fight to the mat and keep it there. Dan Hooker, he's a phenomenal striker. He's going to put a hurting on Chandler if he can't get this fight to the mat. and it's gonna be one for the ages. It's gonna be a back and forth absolute brawl. But at the end of the day, I think there's gonna be levels to this. Dan Hooker's going to show that, there's UFC caliber fighters, and I just don't think Chandler is there. Maybe Chandler goes in and absolutely, does what he needs to do, get in there and take this fight to the mat and absolutely beat up Hooker. But I haven't seen anyone really just take Hooker down and just beat him up. So he would be the first one to do it. It would be very impressive if that does happen. So I'm super excited for this fight, but I'm taking Dan Hooker here, minus 130. I think we're still getting a great line. Hooker can land that big knee as Chandler's coming in for a takedown. So we'll see if that's going to be emphasis on Hooker's game. His knees are very, very deadly. So I'm taking Dan Hooker here, minus 130. I think he's battle proven, and he's one of the upcoming fighters and should be fighting for the belt very, very soon. One of these guys are going to be fighting for the belt very, very soon as well. But yeah, I'm taking Dan Hooker in this fight at minus 130. Last but not least, we are up to the main event of the evening. The fight that everybody's been waiting for, the fight that everybody has been talking about between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor 2. But before we get to that, gotta get into gear here. Yes, that's right. We are talking about the GOAT, Conor McGregor, taking on Dustin Poirier. Yes, I'm going to be doing this breakdown with the GOAT mask because we have the GOAT fighting. He's back. Conor McGregor is back in action, and we can't wait for this fight. And it's going to play out much like the very first fight that they guys had. Dustin Poirier really hasn't progressed enough for me to see that he can beat one of the greatest fighters to ever walk inside the octagon between him and Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is an absolute lethal striker, one of the best strikers that we've seen in the UFC. His counter striking is on point. In the way Dustin fights, he just likes to get into bloody brawls. He even said it. He wants to get Conor McGregor into a brawl with him and see what they're made of. And we've seen Dustin almost get finished by Hooker in round 2. He's luckily that, Hooker was one to actually, he gassed himself out in that second round. And then Dustin was able to hang on by the bell. He was about to get finished. The bell saved him. And that's not going to happen against Conor. Conor is not going to gas himself out in a kickboxing match. The way Conor tends to fade is when guys go in and try to grapple with him. That's not going to happen in this fight. Conor McGregor is back in action, and he's going to fight 2 or 3 times this year, Dana said. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited for the GOAT to be back, and the GOAT is getting another win here. He's going to finish Dustin Poirier within 2 rounds. Minus 280 of a favorite. Still not steep enough. I think that's a max bet right there. And I'm putting a ton of money on Conor McGregor, the GOAT, Conor McGregor here to cash in a ton of money for us like he always does. And with us, our special guest on this show, Tafon Nchukwi, UFC middleweight contender. Thank you so much for coming on the show. How's it going today?
Hey, it's going well, man. Appreciate you having me on here. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. And finally got you on. I know we've tried numerous times, but you've been super busy with your training and all that, so I totally get it. I'm just super excited to have you finally on the show. But first, I want to get into your UFC debut. I want you to talk me through, how it went that day and your training camp leading up to the very first, UFC debut. What was your emotions going and everything like that?
Hey, going in there, man. I couldn't help, just taking everything that was happening. Right there, everything that didn't really feel real. Even to now, sometimes I still catch myself and dang, I'm a UFC fighter. But that day right there, I was just thinking back to when I started. the whole journey, everything I've worked for, walked towards. This is the moment right here. I'm finally about to step into the UFC. So it was that's really everything that was going through me, man. A whole lot of emotions.
Yeah, man. I mean, biggest fight of your life. You finally made it to, the UFC, the big stage. I'm sure, a lot was going through your mind. How were you able to stay focused and stay, aggressive during that entire fight? How was the fight playing out during your head? In the midst of the moment, how was all that playing out for you?
I mean, I was able to stay focused. It was never no problem with that. I got like a team behind me that helped me get ready for everything. They basically told me everything that I could do. So it was like worries or anything. So being focused is definitely never a problem for us.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're a pro, so I know you know how to go to the swing of things. I was just saying about like, the anxiety leading up to, that spot. But yeah, I mean, you went in there and did absolute work. We talked about it on, numerous podcasts, me and your boy, Peter over there. We always talked about this, even flew out to bet on you in Vegas. So, we've been on the Tafon train for a minute now. So it felt good to see you in there. I was super excited to see your UFC debut, and you've grown tremendously on, being a regional fighter to where you are now. How do you think, what do you grade your performance in your UFC debut?
I'll give myself, I have to give myself like a B minus.
B minus. You're modest.
Yeah, man, because I went in there, I was really finished. I mean, DJ, he eating everything. Just kept coming. He didn't want to go down. Also because I didn't give me too much of a low point because I got to show myself. I got to showcase a little bit more of my skill to the people. And I did everything that I wanted to do except finish it. But now, all that questions that people have been asking, a lot of those have been answered. You can see that last more than 3 rounds, the weight cut definitely didn't bother me too much. Even though it was hard, but it didn't affect my performance at all. But I think I could still done a whole lot more to get that finish. I really wanted that 50K for the end of the year.
That's true. I know. I feel you on that. I mean, but that was such a really good performance against a really tough opponent, Jamie Pickett. I mean, the dude doesn't really go down. You pretty much beat him every facet of the game, striking, grappling, everything. I mean, it was a very well mixed martial artist performance. It wasn't just straight striking. It was literally everything. And like you said, you were able to showcase your entire skill set. And I know people were wondering, oh, how's his takedown defense? How's his grappling? Well, you showed it there. And, the people that don't know you before the UFC, they would have known how your, grappling really is, especially you showcase that in your William Knight fight when you're only 3-0. It was very, very impressive there. But yeah, I mean, I great, man. You're so modest. I'm B minus. I think that was an A plus performance. It was great. It was great all around. It really was. It was all around great performance.
I appreciate that. I don't know what you're gonna give me once I show out even more. So.
Oh man, A plus plus. I mean, we can tack on the pluses because I mean. It's really hard. I mean, and I was super surprised. You were just a heavyweight just like 2 fights ago. You were able to cut all the way down to 185, and you didn't look small. You looked massive for 185. So I was just like, I have no idea how you're doing it. You guys have some crazy like diet nutrition program over there because your boy Peter is looking ripped as well. Sadiq is chiseled beyond belief.
Right. You see him?
You're like, it's crazy. You guys are on point with your nutrition, your training. You guys have a lot of good things going on over there. And I'm super excited to see all you guys put it together and all make it to the UFC. Because I know Peter's trying his hardest to get there, and I do believe in him too. you guys are killing it, and I'm super excited for what's to come.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. I know I'm just like feeding into you, but I mean I'm just I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the sport, and I'm a fan of you. So I got to give my props where props is due. As far as 2021, what can we expect of you? Are you going to be fighting often? Can we see you in the first quarter, possibly first half of the year? Because I really want to see you in there as soon as possible, but I don't know, how your schedule works. I don't know how what else is going on, but like, what can we expect for 2021?
Well, definitely trying to be active this year as much as I possibly can. But for right now, I think if I'm looking at maybe probably like April, I don't have anything set yet, but I'm looking to get back active around like late March or like April, be back in Vegas and stuff.
That's awesome.
And then after that, I'm trying to take whatever I can get if whatever's offered to me. Trying to climb up these ranks.
No, I feel you, man.
I got goals set.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to take you long to climb up the ranks if you keep fighting the way you do. I mean, Dana, the boss man, is going to keep giving you fights as much as you want it, the way you fight. Definitely. You could put anybody's lights out. I know me and Peter were talking about betting on you by submission. I'm like, oh my God, he's got him on the ground. He's got his back. He's always got the hooks in. I was going nuts.
Oh man, I was so in that moment right there, man. It was like there was nothing else in my head, but I was trying to get that finish. After I looked at the fight, I could have gotten that submission.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Everybody was losing. I was just so locked into like trying to put this man out.
No, of course.
Submission just didn't cross my mind. That's a learning experience right there. Next time.
Oh man.
Watch out.
Because Peter was talking up your jiu-jitsu game is super underrated, and you're tapping dudes out and and training all the time. So I was like, oh shit, he might get it. I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna happen. It was like a plus 1,500 prop or something crazy like that. So I mean,
everybody tell me, I was like, oh, geez, everybody's got money right there.
But man, that was good. Like I said, great performance all around. But as far as on your next fight, I know you said you're looking towards March, April. Do you have anyone in mind, or you just doesn't matter as long as someone's willing to fight you? Let's go.
Yeah, at this point in my career right now, I don't really think it's anybody specific. Actually, looking to, I'm not in the spot position where it's who I want. I don't think I am, at least for now. So whoever they give me, like whoever's in front of me, I'm taking it right away. So, I'm gonna get through all of them anyway. So
that's true.
Comes first.
I feel you on that. Would there be a fight in the future of somebody that I think it would be that'll showcase your skill set even better than you already did? Is there like somebody that you feel like you could put on a great fight for the fans in the future? It doesn't have to be like coming up soon, but like at any point at 185 pounds, is anyone that you would kind of want to throw down with?
I mean, if we're talking about future, I definitely think people who have a poster, his fight style, I could definitely put up it's going to be definitely a show going on with someone like him. And I was also thinking even before, the dude he just fought yesterday.
Yeah.
I think if me and him also match up, that would be a banger.
Oh wow, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that would be a massive fight tonight.
And like, yeah, that's who I think that's coming to mind right now that I can think of.
Yeah, that's a 50K.
There's one more, like Kevin Holland. I think that'll also probably be a good one too, because he might be able to bring out the trash talk out of you. So he might be able to do that, because it's like for me, I just match whoever I'm there with, and I see the way he fights and how he likes to talk. And if he's going to do that, that's going to bring that right out.
Oh, that would be great, man.
That'll be an interesting fight too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's so many great matchups for you. I believe, especially at 185. There's a lot of great fighters there, a lot of studs. So pretty much anyone you go up against, I think you'd easily put on a show. And I see you trying to bring out your personality more on your social media pages with those videos you put out. Them shits are funny as hell.
I appreciate it. I used to put them out a little while back. It's just that once I started getting too busy, I never really had the energy to be putting anything. I was just focused on training. Now I got a little bit more I'm still super busy with training and everything, but it's not like super crazy getting ready for camp type
right
energy level. So try to do whatever I can.
No, I feel you, man. I mean, that's a great way to get your name out there even more, because I mean, them shits are funny. They're really fucking funny. You should if you're not, because I don't think I follow you on Twitter, but if you're not on Twitter, you should be posting all of that on Twitter, because that's where all the MMA diehards are at. You got to get on Twitter if you're not there. I need to follow you if you're not.
I just recently started using Twitter, so I don't really know how to work like that. I'm gonna definitely take that advice and post more on there.
Absolutely, man. There's a huge MMA community, a huge diehard MMA community on there. So the more you post on there, the more you talk shit on there, the more people are gonna follow you, more get your name out there, get those bigger fights. That's all it is. It's literally an entertainment game, and you got the entertainment aspect. You got the it factor, and people just need to get to know who you are more. And that's why I'm here trying to help you out, and and get your name out there to the masses, because you deserve it. And I'm super excited to see the future of Tafon Nchukwi. Definitely.
Thank you, man. Yeah, definitely looking forward to it too. I'm gonna shape something great.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I wanna get down to what I like to call the rapid fire picks for UFC 257. I don't need to know your explanation as to why you're picking such a fighter, but we're gonna go down the list of all the fighters for the fight card, and I just want to know who you have winning each matchup, and then we'll get to the what's it called, and then we'll get to the main event, and then you give me more of a reason as to why you like who you like. All right, so
let me pull up this list too. You said 257.
Yeah, UFC 257, the pay-per-view for next weekend's fight card. Definitely. All right, so first fight is between Amir Albazi and Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Who you got?
I don't know either of those people, but the Russian sounding name sounds tough.
I'm assuming you mean Zhumagulov, so yeah, Zhumagulov. All right.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
All right. Next up.
That's not everybody.
No, I think he's from Kazakhstan, but I mean it's close enough. You're good. All right. Next up is a catchweight fight between Lentz and Movsar Evloev. Lentz. All right. Next up in the middleweight division between Andrew Sanchez and Makhmud Muradov.
I'm gonna go with
Sanchez. All right. Next up is a women's bantamweight fight between Julianna Pena and Sara McMann. Julianna Pena. Next up is a middleweight fight between Brad Tavares and Antonio Carlos Jr.
I hope you guys about to write this down and go put some bets on it. I ain't gonna take no fault if you.
No, don't sweat it. I just want
they fall through.
Yeah, we'll keep keep a record of. I'm gonna keep a record of all my people that come on and that do this rapid fire picks with me, and I'm gonna by the end of the year I'm gonna see who did the best at picking one UFC card. Hell, you may go undefeated. Who knows?
Okay. Go ahead and read the last one you read.
All right. The last one was middleweight matchup between Brad Tavares and Antonio Carlos Jr. Antonio. All right. Next up is a lightweight fight between Arman Tsarukyan and Narat, Haqparast. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20 21 22 23 24 25 26 27 28 29 30 31 32 33 34 35 36 37 38 39 40 41 42 43 44 45 46 47 48 49 50 51 52 53 54 55 56 57 58 59 60 61 62 63 64 65 66 67 68 69 70 71 72 73 74 75 76 77 78 79 80 81 82 83 84 85 86 87 88 89 90 91 92 93 94 95 96 97 98 99 100 101 102 103 104 105 106 107 108 109 110 111 112 113 114 115 116 117 118 119 120 121 122 123 124 125 126 127 128 129 130 131 132 133 134 135 136 137 138 139 140 141 142 143 144 145 146 147 148 149 150 151 152 153 154 155 156 157 1
Read the last name again.
Tsarukyan and Haqparast.
I'm going with that second.
Haqparast. Nasrat Haqparast. They call him the little Kelvin Gastelum because he looks just like he's just pretty much a lightweight looking Gastelum. Yeah, he like if you look it up, he look exactly like him. They look like they're brothers. It's the funniest thing. All right, next up is a women's strawweight fight between Marina Rodriguez and Amanda Ribas.
I'm gonna Amanda Ribas.
Amanda Ribas. All right. Next up is a lightweight fight between Matt Frivola and Arman Azaitar. The dude's tough. He's tough as nails. All right. Next up is a women's flyweight fight between Jessica Ai and Joanne Calderwood.
Yes.
All right. Next up in the co-main event, we have Dan Hooker and Michael Chandler.
I'm gonna have to go with Hooker because I don't really follow
that. You don't follow Bellator. All right, that's a good thing. As a UFC fighter, you don't follow Bellator. That's good.
I can't even mistake on that. I really only watch UFC fights.
I feel you on that. I feel you. I mean, there are the best fights, so I don't blame you. All right, so we're finally up to the main event. This is where I want you to give me your reason as to why you're picking who you're picking. Obviously, it's a lightweight fight between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Conor. I'm still on Conor hype train, but I'm gonna stick with Conor because they've already fought before, even for the prior fight. Conor, even before he got tagged with Conor, Conor was still winning,
right?
Striking wise,
right?
I still think Conor is pretty dangerous on the feet. Even Poirier is pretty decent on the feet as well. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like he takes a little bit to get started, and if it does go into the later round, then it might get a little bit away from Conor. I don't know because during the later rounds, Conor hasn't really shown that he can really stick in there and so.
True.
I think Conor gonna get this one early in the early round. So
nice.
I'm not too worried about Poirier.
I definitely agree with you there. I think it's going to be a great fight. Another banger of a fight. I mean, UFC 257 is a great fight card, and first pay-per-view on tap for 2021. I'm super excited for that. Before we go, if you want to, give out your social media platforms so people can hit you up, follow you everywhere, so they can see all that funny content you're putting out. So the floor is yours.
All right, yeah. So y'all can check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. It's Tafon_Don, and on Facebook we just my name, Nchukwi. And also I got that drip, which I want to plug in here too.
Yes, definitely.
Don merchandise.
I'm
Tafondon.com, and I got hoodies now as well as some pretty dope merch. So y'all, if you get a chance, check that out.
I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna purchase something right after this, so don't you worry. Definitely, I gotta support you, man. I'm riding the Tafon, the Don train all the way to UFC stardom, so I'm with you all the way. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I said thank you.
Anytime, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We hope to see you back in there super, super soon. We will talk to you soon. You guys, you have a great night, my man. And that's what we have for you guys for this week's breakdown. Guys, you know where to follow me at Fight Analyst on Twitter, The Fight Analyst on Instagram and Facebook. And guys, head over to thefightanalyst.com and get my packages today. It's just $25 for UFC 257. We're going to make a ton of money. We have a 10-unit double max bet for you for this weekend's fight card. It's going to be bonkers, a ton of money to be made. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Fight Analyst and Fight Bananas YouTube pages. We will catch you all cashing out at the ticket window. Until next time.